Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session. This second webinar session on green and safe technologies for healthcare waste management. Today, we're going to discuss from selection and procurement to implementation. This session is recorded, and we will share the presentation as well as the recording by email after the session, either today or tomorrow. And you will be welcome to share this material with your colleagues. You could start this session by introducing yourself, as some are already doing. It would be very nice to know who's with us, where you're from, and maybe for which organization you work. That would be very nice. So you have the chat on the right-hand side of your screen. And in case you have any question at any point of the presentation, please do not hesitate to ask them in the Q&A box. You will see the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom window. And really, you can ask your questions at any point. They will be answered after, well, either in written or at the end of the session after the presentation during the Q&A session. I hope you'll enjoy this session, and I'll give the floor to Ranjit. Ranjit.
Hi, welcome everyone to this second session of a three-session series. We did the first session last month of the last year, which was focused on the national actions on healthcare waste management, what it takes to plan, what it takes to have a roadmap for the 10 years. And we promised that we'll come back with a second session on introducing greener technologies and interventions UNICEF is doing along with Gavi. And this is where we are today. So today's session will be on, we have an agenda of introducing the greener and safe technologies. It will be our regional office from East and Pacific Regional Office. They have initiated LTAs, long-term agreements with greener technology manufacturers. So I'll invite Ridwan shortly to talk about that initiative and support available to UNICEF country offices. And then following that, we have manufacturers speaking to you about the technologies in about 10 minutes slot each. There are 4 manufacturers in this session today. We have Bertin. They're all be presenting in alphabetical order of their company registration name. So Bertin, Ecostel, Newster, and Tessalius, and followed by question and answers of each block. So we will have Ridwan presenting from Yapro, and there'll be question and answers after that, and then there'll be manufacturers presenting, and we'll have 10 minutes of question and answer after that. I'll end up with touching upon operation and maintenance requirements and capacity building, which will be our focus of our next series after this session. So with this quick introduction, I'll invite Ridwan from UNICEF Regional Office of Eastern Pacific Asia. Ridwan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ranjit. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everyone. Greeting from Bangkok. My name is Dr. Ridwan Gustiana. I'm regional health specialist working in UNICEF IAPRO. I'm here with my colleagues Isabel Kantan, our specialist on emergency supply chain. So we're presenting our current initiative on the establishment of regional LTA on green and safe healthcare waste equipment. Slide, please. So if you see this is a picture we're trying to avoid, I think, where the children is exposed to hazardous materials from the waste generated from probably this one is also not only from healthcare, but also from mixed with general waste. Slide, please. So what we motivated us in terms of our initiative, basically, of course, we know that We have just recently the COVID pandemic, where you see that from the evaluation that in terms of COVID, we see that there are lack of resources, infrastructures, tools, budget, and green and safe equipment in terms of healthcare waste management. And of course, various publications from UNICEF, WHO also provide the context and the background why we need to find other solution that was basically become one of the main solution for treating the healthcare waste from the health facilities. Next slide, please. So from the COVID-19, there is a global analysis of healthcare in terms of context of COVID-19. I think this is published in recently in 2022. And you can, of course, seek this. It is very interesting reading. But I think I just want to quote that from this reading is, I think the ultimate aim for treating the healthcare waste should be aimed to use non-burning technologies such as autoclave. And the analysis also quoted that over time, the non-burning technology will cost less. Next slide, please. WHO also recently released a publication about on the climate resilience and sustainable healthcare facility. I think this is very interesting guidance for countries on complying to more climate resilient in terms of healthcare waste management. I think I just read a quote that healthcare waste management services are essential to quality of care and infection prevention control in healthcare facility. Important advances and commitment in this area have been achieved in recent years. But also the guidance also quoted that the total amount of waste generated by healthcare facilities, 15% considered hazardous. This could be infectious, toxic, and radioactive. And of course, some of the concerns also include lack of a proper disposal of syringes, open burning, and incineration in healthcare wastes. I think if everyone's been working on emergency supply chain or healthcare waste management, this is something which probably our concerns. Next slide, please. I quoted some of the finding, also the guidance on COVID-19. Of course, this is also very important that in terms of guidance that the preferable use of available technology, it should be accordance to the Stockholm Convention, such as the contamination of waste and by autoclave or similar procedure or high temperature incineration. Next slide, please. So there is quite around 5 years guidance on which is also released by WHO on the overview of a technology, the treatment of infectious and sharp waste healthcare facility. And the guidance mentioned about technology in accordance to international convention, which is using the low heat based and chemical based processes. But I know from in the recent year, there are a lot of new technology coming out for healthcare waste equipment, including the use of autoclave, microwave, and heat friction, which we, UNICEF EAPRO, interested to know more the availability and also what the recent technology available to be used and to comply to this guidance. Next slide, please. So our initiative is basically trying to, of course, first seek the informations or seek researching or landscape analysis on what's equipment available in the market globally. And then we're trying to establish a regional LTA to help countries to procure a high quality green equipment. This solution aim that offer first reduction of unsafe risk to healthcare workers during waste management operations. The solution also will reduce exposure to dioxins, furans to the healthcare workers, their communities, and the environment. Reduction of the waste volume in health facilities. And also, we're trying to also have the solution with in terms of bundling service such as installation, training, spare part, and warranty. So the country can have enabled and solution that can be fast track, and if they are interested to use that the adapt to the new technologies. Next slide, please. So in the process itself, in April 2022, we published an RFI to seek all the information and come up to ask the manufacturers about their technology. And then we have positive response from around 22 manufacturers and suppliers. And leading to that, we are then launched a global RFP in March 2023. And then from that, there's 11 manufacturers globally responded. And based on our evaluations and which adapt to our criteria and intended criteria, we have at the moment 5 manufacturers awarded the LTA, separated between the supply and the services, where most of the technology or manufacturer is going to present after me. Next slide, please. In summary, we have 10 LTAs, as I mentioned, 5 manufacturers divided between products. We divided the products LTA and the service LTA. So each country can access both different either products or services through these manufacturers. At the moment, the technology itself, so the LTA for the products, including the FCA to port to airport, and the 2 years spare part, and also 2 years of warranty. The 5 LTA services is this including for installation, commissioning, and training for the in local languages. In summary, we have 3 base technology. We have autoclave with shredders, microwave with shredders, and heat friction. For autoclave with shredder, we have Tessalis, which is going to present as well after here. And also we have microwave with shredders. We have Burtons, EcoSteriles, Vertisa, and the manufacturer using equipment using heat friction is from Newsters group. Next slide. In summary, I think the colleagues from the manufacturer will probably explain further on this. We have different capacity, also different location is come from. So there are different capacity in the volume they can treat, which is basically need to be adapt to which capacity of the health, how much volume the facility will produce in terms of healthcare, in terms of waste, and of course the different technology itself. So I think this is summary. I don't have to read it in details. It will be the slide will be also shared later on, and also we have everyone here to present after this. Next slide, please. Okay, so why are this technology green safer? In summary, we have all 3 technology reduce methane, carbon, and no greenhouse gas emissions. The investment to procure the product is higher compared to incinerator, but the operation and maintenance costs are lower. The wastewater discharged by this brand are all decontaminated, so reducing the risk for the environment. Notes also that none of this product necessitate segregation of infectious medical waste. It is preferable to mix them. The output of the waste treatment processes are either for recovery or recycling, and in the worst case, a non-hazardous waste for disposal in authorized landfill. Additional note on the microwave systems incorporate advanced safety features to mitigate any potential risk. Please also note that this product can be treated in all technology from this LTA. This is including solid and liquid waste, sharp and small metal instruments, expired and used vaccine vials and pharmaceuticals. This is, and also including small body parts and cultures. Next slide, please. So what's our support available to countries, especially in our region, if they are interested to use this new technology? We at the moment there's some various plan for capacity building. Also, there will be some published guidance as well. We currently preparing a technical guide on how to choose the best technology according to the country context, such as availability of water, energy, operational economy, and reduction of the carbon emissions. We also prepare, of course, the technical guide on how to procure this product using our regional LTA, where country can access through UNICEF, if in at the from the country. And also we going to, of course, now we have also bringing all the manufacturers coming here, but we will also plan to have more details webinars with each of manufacturers, so you can have more time for question and answer later on. Next slide. I think that's it from us. Thank you very much. And if you have question to our presentation, I'm here, and also is also supported by Isabel, who's basically available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ridwan. Any questions? I see there's one question in the box from Mohammed Humayun. Is asking, how can these advanced technologies be introduced in the low-income countries, considering the cost and maintenance? Which will be the best option to be introduced in the low-middle-income countries? Yeah, this is it's a matter of planning. You know, if you see the cost of processing the waste itself, we don't see the cost today because we don't process the waste. I think this is one big problem we're trying to address. We're trying to bring in a technology to process the waste in a greener manner. And in practice, this is not managed, and we have hazardous problems. So you saw in Ridwan's earlier slide, the waste is being disposed and it's being mixed with the general waste, and then people are being exposed to that. So if you have to compare apple to apple, we need to see the cost of managing the healthcare waste in a normal scenario when we actually manage it. Then when we compare it, this is much cheaper to actually operate it. We saw one of the slides from Ridwan where he compared the cost of operation of different methods. So there, the technology's operational costs are much lower. But I agree with you, to introduce something new, bring in a new technology, it's always a challenge. I hope I answered your question. Also, I see Sophie's marking to also respond to this question.
No further response from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead, Sophie, please.
So this is a very interesting question, I think can relate to energy consumption of the products and sources of energy. So here's the question from Minkop Turner Richard. For consideration of green and safer environment, are these equipment powered by solar?
Maybe I can take this question, and Ridwan can supplement this. The powers can be sourced by anything. It's at this moment, this is powered by electricity, and electricity is sourced through either grid or a generator or a solar. But it's going to be a little expensive to actually get the solar package just to run the healthcare waste management equipment. So I would recommend, if you're planning the solar route, we need to look at the electricity load of the health facility and make sure that the solar package can address a range of solutions. Because these units are not going to run for a longer period of time. It will process 1 or 2 batches a day. But also matter of planning, it's contextual. Some countries may want these units at the health center, where the health center is large, and these countries normally have electricity grid availability or a generator, diesel generator backup. In a countries where electricity is a problem, I would recommend that these units are installed at a higher level, probably a district hospital, where a large unit is installed, powered by either grid or generator. So the solar will not be a great solution. Thank you.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, I think different technology have required different energy in terms of kilowatts and everything. But of course, later on, you can probably going to have more details explanation for all the manufacturers going to present here as well. Over.
So
I see we have one final question from Dr. Ibrahim here for Ridwan to ask, how much is the needle cutter seen in your last presentation, if you don't mind?
All right, maybe I'll let me ask Isabel. Isabel, maybe you have more details on the pricing and everything. Maybe if you want to comment and answers. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're asking about the needle cutter. Is that correct, Sophie? So it's a small. Yeah, I don't have the actual commercial prices for those. I'm sorry. I will look and come back to you. Over to you.
Yeah, as I remember, needle cutters are not expensive. They are yeah, it's not an expensive solution. It can be done at a very low cost. Okay, Sophie, should I pass it on to you to now invite our manufacturers?
Absolutely, thank you. So next, we have our featured manufacturers and technologies. We will have roughly 10 minutes presentation from each manufacturer, followed by a question and answer. So please do feel free to pop your questions in the chat throughout the presentation so you don't forget them, just because it will come at the end. And if you do have a specific question for a specific manufacturer, please do indicate so. Over to Burton to start us off.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Soufiane Belkiri. I am Asia Sales Manager for Bertin Technology. I am currently based in Paris, but I'm dealing with the Asian market, so I'm based in Singapore. And today I'm very happy to share more details with you regarding our innovative solution for medical waste management called Sterile Wave. Next, please. So, as a quick introduction regarding Bertin Technology. So Bertin Technology, we are a French industrial group company based in Paris with several offices around the world. Our main branches and our main focus in terms of activity are defense and security, nuclear, space, big science, life science, and obviously hospital waste management. We are around over 150 million euros company. And as you can see, more than half of our business is done outside of Europe and France. Next, please. So now let's go straight to Sterile Wave. So Sterile Wave is a microwave-based technology. So as Ridwan was saying before, it's a non-burning technology. Basically, Sterile Wave, how does it work? Sterile Wave is a compact system, a plug-and-play solution, only using electricity, that will enable you guys, any hospitals and any laboratories, to convert any kind of infectious waste within 30 minutes. So you will have shredding, sterilization, and after 30 minutes, you have a totally unrecognizable final waste. In a nutshell, Sterile Wave is a safe, easy to use solution, eco-friendly, and that will enable you guys to sterilize any kind of infectious waste. Next, please. In order to present you this solution, I would like Sophie to share about our video. It will show you how we do convert infectious waste to safe, inert infectious waste to municipal waste. So Sterile Wave is a full range of solution from 20 kilogram per hour to up to 180 kilogram per hour. Without any segregation, you can shred and decontaminate any kind of waste, needles, glass, tubing, metallic parts, filters, anatomical parts. And how does it work? On the first step, you will load all the infectious waste into the vessel. You press on the button And automatically after 30 minutes, with using microwave technology, you will sterilize all the infectious waste. And as you can see, the final waste is totally unrecognizable, dry, and safe, with a volume reduction and weight reduction and no biological risk at the end. Some example of waste that we do treat. Here in Vietnam, we've been dealing a lot with vials and blood bags. We can easily handle bandages in Bangladesh, and as well some glass vials and leftover vaccines. Here in India, syringes and catheter. Without any problem, we can deal with it. The final waste of all of this is weight reduction, up to 25%. Volume reduction as well, up to 85%. The final waste is dry and unrecognizable and inert and ready to be disposed as a municipal waste. Sterile wave today is an approved technology worldwide with test acceptances in the US, France, UK, Australia, China, and Japan. We passed all the acceptance tests in more than 70 countries, and we are obviously compliant with the highest norm regarding infectious waste management. All right, now we can go on the next slide. Here is a quick screenshot regarding what are the disadvantages today to have open burning for infectious waste. So quite straightforward, open burning just produce some emission that will directly infect you guys, the population, but not only us, the soil contamination, but as well the groundwater, which will come back to us at the end with the water that we're drinking and the food that we are eating. Next slide, please. Sterile wave is a green technology because we are a very low energy consuming system. So it's a plug and play solution only using electricity, less than 15 kilowatt hour. We don't need any water for sterilization, and we don't need any draining system to play and to run this machine. Furthermore, we don't have any external equipment needed, such as water softener, external shredder system to make the machine running. The system that we do propose is a HEPA filter for the vapor emission, because microwave technology basically is a dry heat solution, converting steam, moisture, into steam. So we are just proposing the HEPA filter. It's a low greenhouse emission compared to existing technologies on the market. And it enables any government, any countries, any hospital in the world to drastically reduce the CO2 emission compared to the current process. Next slide, please. As an example, in Cambodia, we've been supplying over 100 units, and the government really wanted to shift from incineration to green technology in order to do some promotion regarding environmental sustainability. And the Asian Development Bank shared a study out of 42 units, 42 hospitals using sterile wave. And as you can see, the CO2 emission has been drastically divided by 5. So sterile wave compared to incineration today is definitely a good answer if you want to reduce your greenhouse emissions. Next slide, please. Furthermore, in 2022, we have been awarded by the United Nations, and more precisely the UNIDO, through the Global Call 2022, and as a green and innovative technology solution toward net zero for healthcare waste management. Next slide, please. As a conclusion, sterile wave definitely allows you to decontaminate any kind of infectious waste, and in a very good manner, such as in an eco-friendly manners. We don't need any liquid effluent. With this technology, there is a positive impact on the environment. Again, we only require electricity. And at the end, you can store the final waste for a long time, and you can even recycle it in some examples. Secondly, it's a very safe technology. So we're only using atmospheric pressure. We don't have any risk of explosion or irradiation. All the shredding and the sterilization is done in one single vessel. And finally, you don't need a skilled operator to work on this machine. We do comply with the highest standards, such as the ISO, CE, the STAT 3, and as well the norm NFX 30501. Finally, we do have a global technical expertise. So in every country where we are present, we have a technical team and we have a local distributor who's ready to perform the maintenance, the installation, but as well the after-sales service. But in technology today, we have a technical support based in France, in the USA, but as well in Singapore. And our success story for around 10 years is over 800 installations worldwide in developed countries, but as well and above all in low-income countries where 95% of our installations are done. Next, please. So as a conclusion, Stereo Wave is an optimal on-site solution for hospital, since that we do have a very low energy consumption and only using electricity, safe technology, eco-friendly, where we don't use any water, any liquid effluent, efficient and compliant with all international standards. Next, please. If you have any question, I would be more than happy to answer it. Please stay in touch and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Soufiane. And next we have EcoStero.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm Andrew Cantillo, Area Sales Manager for EcoStero, along with my dear colleague, Lubna Esaburi. And it's a pleasure to connect with you all and thank you for the privilege of addressing you today. So next, please. So, well, here we are in a world that is constantly challenging our ability to balance progress and responsibility. So it is truly an honor to be with you on behalf of EcoStero, a Belgian family company that has been at the forefront of healthcare waste management for many years. We're glad to share with you how we are shaping a more sustainable future. Since 1947, just 1 year after the foundation of UNICEF, EcoStero has dedicated to providing solutions for different industries. So more than 75 years ago, our company started helping with its manufacturing expertise. And today we stand as proud partners with renowned global organizations such as the United Nations, WHO, UNDP, JICA, and ministries of health of different countries. So our story is all about finding smart ways to deal with medical waste. We are committed to trying to new things, being the first to do them, instead of just getting rid of waste. We're like explorers, thinking about how we can use even the leftovers from healthcare waste to do good things for the environment. So we imagine a world where every bit of waste can be turned into something helpful for everyone. And I'm very proud to say that EcoStero was the first to recognize that potential, the potential of giving a second chance to valuable materials by recycling them and developing waste to energy projects after the treatment of the medical waste. And we're going to tell you more about that in a minute. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to ask Sophie, please, to show us a video of the process of EcoStero. So here basically we're going to show you the process from A to Z. So our solutions are 100% electrical. We don't use any resource different than electricity. All operations are automatic. So it is a very friendly user machine. We are going to pre-shred all the waste because we want to be sure that it's unrecognizable after the treatment. Then we're going to mix it up. So we don't have to classify it before. You can treat any liquids, any solids, syringes, metals, containers, plastic, everything is inside. And then we're going to start heating up with microwaves. The microwaves are going to raise temperature of the waste rapidly in a question of 1 to 2 minutes. And then we're going to continue heating the medical waste with electrical resistances for 1 hour. So the key or the secret of our technology is time and temperature. So to expose the medical waste to high temperature for more than an hour, it's going to warranty the total decontamination of the waste. So something that I like to precise as well is the continuous flow process that our machines have. So you don't have to wait for a batch to be decontaminated to start with another one, but it's continuous. So the machine can be fed continuously, low consumption, and we're going to go deeper into the details of why we are green and safe. So I give you the dance floor, Lubna.
So as my colleague Andrew was mentioning, EcoSterial has been active in industrial manufacturing for 75 years. And when we have decided to focus our activities only on healthcare waste about 25 years ago, very central to our reason of existing was the aim of coming up with a non-burning technology that would not only enable the decontamination to the highest levels, but actually to use the least possible resources. And very concretely, this means that EcoSterial does not necessitate any burning, any water, any gas, steam, or chemicals to be operated. As a result, there are no emissions, no pollutants, no fumes, no effluents, or any wastewaters whatsoever. What in addition to the sustainable healthcare waste decontamination, what makes the EcoSterial solution truly unique is that you are able to reuse 100% of the waste output, as Andrew was mentioning. And I'm going to be presenting you with some of the reusability applications. The first and main one is recycling. And I'm going to be taking you a couple of years back to the story of how we came up with this truly unique innovation. So we are about, I would say, 7 to 8 years ago. We are already installing decontamination units all over the world. And our R&D department decides to conduct some assessments among our users to see what's in their medical waste composition. And one very important finding that they have come to is that the medical waste contains extremely valuable and highly valuable materials, such as plastics, in particular PPs and PEs. And so we have undergone a whole R&D process, and we have imagined, developed, and manufactured the only solution that exists to this day to be able to recycle that healthcare waste. That solution is called the R-Steril. So only up to a couple of years ago, nobody would have imagined that a used syringe could ever be reused. And here we are. It's called the R-Steril. It's capable of sorting 1 ton of healthcare waste per hour, which is then being recycled and reused into new bins, new pipes, and new boxes. And next slide, please, Sophie. Yes, there are, of course, more applications in sustainable construction, in waste to energy, in insulation, all of which we are going to be presenting you more in depth during the next webinar. Now, how is EcoSterial solution safe? So one thing that's important for you to know is that all of our machines are smart. So all of them have the ability to be connected to internet. And so our engineers from Belgium are able to constantly be tracking your parameters and to be checking if your operations are under good safety measures. What's more, all of our units, except for the 75, are fully automated. That means that there's reduced operator manipulation. And also the process leaves no areas untreated. One final point is that now being active for 25 years in the sector, we hold a track record of nationwide projects undertaken with ministries of health in Kenya, in many countries, but also with noteworthy waste management entities. And I give the floor to Andrew.
Yes, thank you, Lubna. So here is the portfolio of products that we have. So at each time that you see the number, it corresponds to the minimum quantity of kilograms that we can treat per hour. So we are from 75 kg to 250 kg per hour. And our idea is to respond to the needs of everyone in the industry. So we must admit that the first machine that we have developed was the biggest machine, the 250, because we want to give the opportunity to healthcare waste management to be centralized. But then we also noticed the needs of the hospital to treat their own medical waste. So that's when we developed the 75 kg per hour machine. So yeah, at the end, we want to respond to everyone, all sizes, service providers, hospitals, clinics, and the capacity that we can treat per day. You can see it here. It's 1,500 kg per hour for the small machine, and then from 3.5 to 7 tons per day for the biggest machines.
Well, yes, to summarize, if you need to be keeping in mind two main messages from our presentation with Andrew, I would say that the first is that if you are a health center that generates more than 200 kilograms of waste per day, you definitely do not need an eco-sterill. We're going to be too big for your needs. But then if you are generating more than 200 kilograms of waste per day, you definitely want to be looking more into our options. In both of these cases, if you need any information, any advice, any feedback or experience, please feel most welcome to get in touch with Andrew and myself through LinkedIn, via email, or whatever. We're always happy to be in touch with the actors of our field. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you to UNICEF for the platform.
Thank you very much, Andrew and Lubna. If you have questions for them both, feel free to pop those in the chat, and they may be able to answer you just in a typed answer, or we will answer it online at the end. All right. Next up, we have Nuster. Over to you.
Good day to all the participants. Can you hear me? I think
yes, we can.
Yeah. My name is Ledina, and thank you for this opportunity to showcase our products. Today, I will present Nuster Sustainable Solutions for the Treatment of Medical Waste, which presents the technological and ecological solution provided to ensure a safe management of healthcare waste worldwide. First of all, Nuster is an Italian-based company. It has over 25 years of experience in designing and manufacturing systems for the treatment of healthcare waste. We product not only treatments for the hospital solid waste, we have also a focus on customized plans for laboratory fluid waste, hospital sewage water, and also containerized mobile solutions for emergency waste management. I'd like to show you this very brief video of the company. It's in Italian, but there's subtitles on it. It was on the slide. Sorry, can you go up? Second slide, there's a video. Yeah, that one is a video.
Nuster da oltre 20 anni produce e commercializza macchine che trattano i rifiuti infetti degli ospedali. Nuster vuole dare delle soluzioni tecnologiche e innovative per dare un'anima green agli ospedali e non solo.
Il concetto di sostenibilità può essere declinato in tante forme. Nel nostro caso è creare delle soluzioni tecnologiche che mirino alla sostenibilità ambientale e sociale.
La cosa più bella del nostro lavoro è essere inventivi, inventare una cosa nuova ogni volta in un ambiente diverso, con culture diverse.
Dopo 20 anni ci ritroviamo a vendere in 4 continenti, in 43 paesi, anche se eravamo nati solo e esclusivamente per il mercato italiano.
Siamo una piccola azienda, ma che ha la capacità per arrivare davvero in ogni paese del mondo.
Next slide, please. So I would like to answer to this question on how is Newster contributing towards an ecological hospital. Next. And in this slide, if we imagine our ecological hospital, where every different waste stream could be managed on site by turning a problem into an opportunity, focusing on the hospital solid waste, the waste system proposed by Newster offers several advantages compared to traditional methods. First of all, it does not emit persistent organic pollutants and no other emissions into the environment. It can also be equipped, the system, with a water recycling system, which increases the effectiveness of waste treatment and reduce operational costs. These combined advantages make the waste treatment proposed by us an advanced and sustainable solution compared to traditional methods. Next, please. Newster frictional heat treatment is our patented technology for the treatment of hospital solid waste. Next. In here, all waste treatment technologies which can ensure the elimination and minimization, as we said before, of persistent organic pollutants should have the priority over other technologies. As you can see, thermal-based treatment technologies such as frictional heat, microwave, autoclaving have been classified as technologies which can meet the requirements of this international convention mentioned and are the technologies that had to be chosen. In here, you can see our product range that includes sterilization units for hospital solid waste. The technologies are designed for hospital with 150 to 600 beds and external centralized plants. This unit operates several shifts with each treatment cycle lasting 45 to 45 minutes. Our smallest unit is the Newster 5 with 15 kilos per hour. And the medium unit is the Newster 50 with 30 kilos per hour. We have the newest technology, the Newster 30 with 70 kilos per hour. And the biggest unit, Newster 50, with a capacity of 1 kilo per hour. Next, please. In here, I'd like to briefly summarize the frictional heat treatment, how it works. The treatment is carried out in a single depression chamber without risk for the environment and for the operator. No chemicals are used during the cycle. The temperature inside the chamber is measured in real time by patented sensors, and the duration of the exposure to heat and the cycle parameters are controlled by the PLC. During the cycle, the system automatically generates a printed report which the operator can attach to the worksheet at the end of the cycle. The sterilization can be proven, of course, by microbiological analysis and by efficacy tests using biological indicators. Next. Here we have different stages of the cycle. The stage 1, of course, the loading and the starting of the machine, where the powerful rotor finally shreeds the waste by the impact and friction. Then we will have the evaporation of the liquid as a second stage. The temperature starts to increase, and the emissions are fully compliant with the highest environmental standards. We go to the next slide. Stage number 3, it's the moment where the sterilization point has been reached with a peak of 150 degrees required for a complete sterilization according to STAT level 4. To completely destroy microorganisms and bacteria contained in the medical waste. At the stage 4, we have the cooling phase. The waste is cooled by sprays of water, and also odor control, enzymatic odor control is also sprayed in the waste. And for the last stage, we will have the treated waste unloaded, automatically unloaded. The treated waste, next slide, is dry, unrecognizable, sterilized due to continuous shredding and friction, odorless, 20 to 25% loose in weight, and 70 to 70% loose in volume. We're going to show in the next webinar also our end-of-waste studies with sterilized medical waste. Next, please. Also, what we have developed in these years is also our inside web app for the remote control of the machine. This is the web app. It's a cloud software which permits a digital plant register, predictive and preventive maintenance also of the plant, real-time assessment of the unit working status in this logbook, with consumptions and also weight reductions. We believe that this software is used for a better traceability of healthcare waste. Next. In here we have available also remote training for operators and or for all the staff involved on the use of the equipment. Of course, the training is being done also on our factory, but in here we have a new tool for the operator with a wide range of topics related to the equipment use, safety, maintenance program, and waste management. The lessons are now translated in more than 10 languages. Next. Here we have some studies regarding the environmental benefits of using on-site sterilization. The study is life cycle assessment, has been done in collaboration with Università Politecnica delle Marche in Italy, Department of Life and Environmental Science. It shows how the on-site treatment of solid waste is more environmentally sustainable than current management practices such as waste to energy plants. Next, please. In here, you can see some numbers, some 70% of reduction of environmental impacts compared to waste to energy, thanks to the on-site, and 50% of reduction of the environmental impact compared to waste to energy, in this case with carbon containers. Next. All this study has been certified by Italian third-party certification institute, which realized a digital online certification characterized by a unique blockchain address. This page allows the hospital to summarize the effectiveness of choosing on-site sterilizer in terms of reducing environmental impact through simple indicators such as you can see here, CO2 emission equivalent to tons of waste recycled. You will have real-time data with net weight input and net weight output. Next, please. In here, I would like to say that I believe and we believe that all our on-site technologies that we have presented today represent a real green opportunity for healthcare institutions. On-site sterilization systems allows to manage waste sustainably in line with European directives of circular economy and the target of the United Nations, such as the reduction of quantities of waste generated, the reduction of climate change emissions due to the reduction of a drastic transport, and the reduction of biological risk at source. I really would like to thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, we're here.
Thank you very much, Ledina. And now over to Tesalis.
Thank you, Sophie. Good morning, everyone. I am Benjamin Lobé, the Asia Sales Manager of Tesalis, and I am based in our regional office, which is in Vietnam. I will introduce you our autoclave-based technology for the treatment of infectious healthcare waste. So Tesalis, we are a French company that have been developed and manufacturing from 8 to 100 units of autoclaves with built-in shredder that has been installed in 80 to 90 countries with the help of 100 distributors, partners that have been certified and trained in our premises. Next slide, please. So here on the left part of the screen, you do have the 4 units I am going to introduce today. Those 4 units, SteriPlus 40, 80, SteriShred 250, and 700, are all autoclaves with integrated shredders. The difference is only the capacity of those units, so from 4 kilograms per hour up to 100 kilograms. And coming with those units, we do have a range of services for the installation, the qualification, the maintenance, the repair of the units that is performed either by us indirect, thanks to our regional offices worldwide, or through thanks to the help of our local partners that has been trained by us. Next slide, please. This is the presentation video on the SteriPlus system. So all the systems are working in the same way. And the difference is only the capacity. You can click on the video.
Seeming to have some trouble pressing play.
That's okay. Otherwise, we can still share it later. It is in the presentation. The waste is being loaded from the top. I can explain it on the next slide. So we have here the SteriPlus unit. So to explain quickly before displaying the video, the waste is being loaded from the top, both solid and liquid waste, including sharps, PPE equipment, vaccine bottles, metal, glass, plastic, liquid waste as well. Then the machine will close, and we have first a shredding process. So all the waste being in the loading chamber will be shredded, cut it in small pieces of 1 centimeter of waste maximum. Solid waste will fall down in the basket that we can see on the drawing, and liquid waste will fall down at the bottom of the unit. So there is a segregation between liquids and solid waste. And then we will start the sterilization cycle. We are an autoclave, so we will inject steam. There is a steam generator inside the unit that will reach 135 degrees during 10 minutes to sterilize the waste, of course, but also the full unit. So the loading chamber and the shredder as well will be fully sterilized in order to ensure that that it is very safe, and then we can perform any maintenance or load another cycle without any issue. So to give some features on the unit, this is a pressure vessel. Can we come back on the previous slide? This is a pressure vessel, so we do have no noise, no smell coming from the unit. In terms of energy consumption, we are consuming about 90% less water and electricity than a standard autoclave. And for the shredding efficacy itself, we are using a dual blade shredder that rotates in both sides, in one way and reverse, to have a very precise shredding, and which is also not noisy. And all those units are quite small, compact, and the goal is to have something easy to install, easy to maintain, and easy to fix if needed. Next slide, please. So we do have here a sample of before and after waste being shredded. So for example, on the second one, sharpened boxes before and after with metal scissors, hemodialysis waste on the third one, and PPE equipment on the last one. And we do have about 80 to 85% waste volume reduction from before and after the shredding process is done. Next slide. We are following several standards, this one being the most important one, NFX 30503, that proves our efficiency on the microbiological side. So we are about 8 log 10, which is 99 to 100% efficiency. And second, this standard proves that we are compliant and safe for the environment. All the air that is exhausted from the unit, the steam as well, the drains, the effluents, the liquids, are safe for both the human and the environment. Next slide, please. We do have other certifications like CE, EU. We are also certified and tested by independent laboratories that ensures that the units are safe, and that also we do have microbiological efficiency that is proven. Next slide, please. So in the past, prior to those new technologies for the on-site treatment of infectious healthcare waste, hospitals were using mainly incinerators, which are kind of CO2 emitting systems, not good for the environment, not good for the operators as well. And on our side, can we switch to the next slide, please? On our side, we did also some studies to estimate the amount of CO2 emission that is avoided per year. So for a medium-sized hospital of 250 beds, this is about the equivalent of about 110 tons of CO2 that is avoided per year, that is not emitted. And this is the equivalent of one car traveling about 12,000 times around the world. And this study is in the case of a hospital using a SteriPlus unit. Next slide, please. We are also recommended or mentioned in WHO guides on 2 guides. So this first guide was published in 2022 for the treatment of COVID-19 waste, in which WHO recommends to use autoclave to deal with infectious healthcare waste. And on the next slide, this is the second guide in which there is a study on the cost-saving operations from a healthcare facility if they are using an on-site waste treatment system. And in this case, they are using the SteriPlus system to display and use the data of the SteriPlus to make the calculation of how much money can be saved by the healthcare facilities. Next slide, please. In my case, in the Asia Pacific region, so on all the blue spots are all the areas where we have performed installations, where we have units, or where we have certified and trained partners for the maintenance, repair, installations, as I already mentioned. And the regional office is in Ho Chi Minh City, where we have also a local team, Tesalis local team, willing to travel on a weekly basis on site to provide support to the partners, to the end user, to make sure that the units are running in good conditions. We have performed about 100 installations in Asia, in remote areas such as islands, remote islands, but in total it's about 200 units installed on the continent. Next slide, please. And here are some final pictures of the recent installations that have been performed from different types of units, SteriPlus, SteriShred, the small units, bigger units in Southeast Asia, mainly over the past weeks and months. And on the next slide, I think this is the final one. I put the contact name and the email address of all my colleagues covering either based in other regional offices worldwide, or directly my contact on the top right of the screen if you have any question or if you wish to go more in depth on the SteriPlus or SteriShred system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Benjamin, and thank you to all of our speakers. We will now have a brief Q&A. I see some questions have been already answered in the Q&A box, but maybe just to say some of those out loud and run through each manufacturer, perhaps in the order that you presented, if you don't mind. First, we're getting a few questions about the size of the technology. So what size are your different technologies, and what type of area would be required for installation? Starting with Bertrand, please.
So regarding SteriWave, obviously it does vary from one machine to another, but on average, from the small system SteriWave 100, we only request a floor requirement of maximum 10 square meters. And for our biggest machine, maximum 20 square meters floor requirement. So it's a very compact system that doesn't need to have a proper building, just floor requirement, which is quite limited and compact.
Thank you. EcoSterile?
Yes, in our case for EcoSterile, it of course depends on the solution. We have got 4 models. The 75 would need anywhere between 20 to 25 square meters minimum and above. The reason for that is that actually the systems have a much longer lifetime, 20 years, 25 years. So we're looking into something that would be there for a long term. So of course, you would need more flooring, a project that needs more thought, more preparation, and more space indeed. And then for the 250, I would say minimum 60 to 70. That's our biggest model.
Thank you. To Nooster.
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah. Also for Newster, for the smallest unit, the capacity, the room requirements will be 10 to 25 square meters for the smallest 10 and the biggest one, 25 square meters. We also assist our clients on the technical layout with all the installation and requirements, and we build it together. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And to Tessalus.
Since the units are quite small and compact, we need about 10 square meters for the Steri Plus range, and up to 50 square meters for the Steri Shred range, considering that this includes, of course, the machine itself, but also the space you need to work around the machine to dispose the waste, and so on and so on. So it's quite small. And we also provide layout guides, recommendations on the room itself, and we can support anytime to adjust.
Thank you all very much. We have a lot of questions. I'm sorry to say we may not be able to answer all of them, but one quite important one that's coming through is about the operations and maintenance. And maybe each manufacturer, if you could please talk about a bit on the running costs and requirements, as well as considerations for operations and maintenance of the equipment. And this will set us up nicely for our final section as well. Over to you, Burton.
So indeed, that's a very important question, and which need to be taken into consideration, because of course everyone is thinking about capital cost, but as well operating cost is one of the main topic. Regarding Sterile Wave, in terms of operating cost, it's a very minimal installation requirement. Basically, again, it's a plug and play solution. You don't need to have extra equipment, extra installations, such as like a draining system or other water softener or even external shredder. So in terms of operating costs, it's a very minimal requirement for Sterile Wave. One question that I saw as well that might be a part as well of this question would be the electricity consumption. From us, again, it varies from one machine to another, but we will never exceed 15 kilowatt hour. For example, for the big machine, and for the small machine will be 6 kilowatt hour. Over to me.
Thank you. To Ecostera, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
You want to answer, Lubna?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So in our case, for Ecastral, we divide our maintenance and support to our clients in 3 pillars. So the first pillar is the relationship that we create with all of our users around the world. So our machines are installed in 48 hours only, and in 72 hours it's already operational. So the rest of the time that we're going to spend with the user is just for training. So we're going to train them. It's 360 degrees training in operations, in maintenance, in spare parts changing. So that's the first pillar. They're going to be fully autonomous at the end of this training. The second pillar is the remote maintenance. So we can connect from our headquarters in Belgium to give support to the customers around the world. So that's a plus service that we offer for everyone. And the third pillar is the continued support that we give on site. So if one of the 2 first pillars it is not sufficient, we can go to the plant of the client and give directly support. So that's for the maintenance. I don't know if you want to add something.
That was very clear and very complete.
Thank you very much. Over to Newster.
Yes, also for our technologies, I mentioned before, all the maintenance is measured with the web app. For example, on the web app, it will show the maintenance of, for example, how many times you need to change the blades. Let's make an example. And we also have this tool for supporting our clients from our R&D office, technical office in Italy, with a direct connection to the machine. And also different days of training are also carried for maintenance and troubleshooting in our office. So our distributor is in a continuous contact with us regarding the maintenance part. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And to Gisellus.
So for us, we recommend to do about once the unit is installed, about 2 maintenances per year, one every 6 months, to check if the units are working well, the components, the filters, and so on. This is done either by the local partner or by a Tesalis engineer directly on site. The units are checked on a weekly basis. Actually, they are follow-up on a weekly basis by the partners, by us, to make sure that everything is running well. They are also equipped with Wi-Fi and 4G to have access to the units remotely if needed for support. But of course, if there is any issue, there is always the hotline available. And we can also deploy an engineer on site if needed. On the construction site, for the small size Stereo Plus, we are between 4 to 5 kilowatt per cycle, including everything, including the power of the shredder, the power of the steam generator, all the components, since it is a fully integrated system.
Wonderful. Thank you all for your presentations and for answering questions live. Please feel free to type any answers if there are remaining questions directed at you. Otherwise, we will be circulating all of these presentations after, and you will have the contact details of each of the manufacturers and presenters today, so you feel free to follow up with them separately with more questions. Now, our last section on operations and maintenance and capacity building and training. Over to you, Ranjit.
Thanks so much, Sophie. So this is an introduction of next session, which will be on, Sophie, remind the dates. It'll be in February. And
yes, the 20th of February.
20th of February, and we will deep dive into the operation and maintenance requirement of each of the technology, which was presented today, and a capacity building plan which IAPRO is planning and also other initiatives this year coming up for the training and opportunities. So this was just an introduction of what we are going to talk in the next session. Please do join. We'll deep dive into operation and maintenance next session. Over to you, Sophie. Any other burning question we want to address? There was one question I think actually I want to take up and see if we have a manufacturer responding. It's about the medical, processing of medicines, expired medicines and drugs. Anyone want to come in? I think it was already answered live, but would be good to test that.
I can answer it. Actually, can I go through?
Yes, please.
Actually, with our technologies, depending on local legislation, it cannot be treated pharmaceutical waste. We are developing a prototype. It's a new product for expired pharmaceutical waste. It will be available. It's a co-founded project, so it will be available, I can say, next year.
But the question is, why, with all these technologies where we are, applying heat one way or other and also shredding, so why not the expired medicine be treated with it? Or it can be treated, or it cannot be. That is a question.
Okay.
Maybe to add up about what Ledina just shared, indeed, it's highly vary from one country to another with the local regulation. There are some countries that will say medicine has to be burned directly, must be into incineration. For our system Stereo Wave, we recently been awarded with Moderna and L'Oreal because they have some pharmaceutical waste that have to be treated. And again, Australia, they will say yes. Saudi Arabia, they will say no. It highly depends from one country to another, always. But in terms of medicine, any of the technology that has been presented today can treat medicine without any problem.
So it's highly dependent on national regulations on treating the medicines, and as far as technology is concerned, there are less of a bottleneck to do this, but it's more of the national regulatory, if I understand correctly.
Exactly.
Good. Over to you, Sophie, for any last closing words for the next webinar. And I think those who have registered, registration stays valid for the next webinar as well, right?
Yes, that is correct. So please do join us on the 20th of February at the same time slot, where we will be discussing more about the operations and maintenance of equipment and capacity building activities to appropriately manage healthcare waste and treatment of such waste. Thank you very much, and please look out for circulation of the different links to presentations after this session.
Over to you, Alex, for closing the session formally.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sophie and Hanjit. You will receive an email today or tomorrow with the links to the presentations and the slides and the recording. Thank you very much for joining this session today, and thank you to all our participants and our presenters. I wish you all a very beautiful day, and see you in a few weeks for the next session. Bye, everyone.